Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny B. I've missed you guys. It's just been crazy around here. I don't know, like nothing serious or bad, just busy and, spring break. And I wasn't feeling well for a little while. And yeah, just a lot going on. And time is just flying by. I mean, it's crazy how fast we're moving along here, but how's everybody doing? Thank you to everybody who liked the video. If I'm staying on YouTube, I'm going to have to play the way that YouTube plays. So if you don't mind liking or commenting, I always like hearing you guys what you have to say. I appreciate your feedback. And yeah, I've been thinking of you even though I haven't been on. I'm trying to stay off social media as much as possible right now. I'm sure a lot of you are in that boat. I want to just get some admin stuff out of the way. First of all, I'm curious, those of you who participated in the astrology summit that I was a part of. I think that I spoke already. I'm pretty sure. I didn't sign up for the summit, so I did get the email of what day it would be, but that was a few weeks ago, and I don't really remember. But I think it might have been today. So I'm curious, those of you who took advantage of my free gift, what you thought about that healing, so you guys could let me know. And then what else? Oh, if you are interested in booking a session with me, that is in the box. If you hit show more, the description box that's below the video, there's a link that you can go to my website and then book a session with me. In follow-up sessions after the first appointment is about 2 hours. It falls like 90 minutes to 2 hours. So, but after that, the initial session when we go through the entire chart and we're looking at subconscious patterns. That's the way that I read the chart. And then the stories that created those patterns. We go back and take a look into the Akashic through your own subconscious memories in the follow-up sessions. Then we go back, we take a look at those, and then if people have been working with me for a long time, I usually start doing like work with them, teaching them how to do what I do, kind of thing. So I've done that a few times. So yeah, I'm not just saying this, I promise. But this new moon that we have coming up is one of the most fabulous, I think, since I've been on YouTube. The promise in this new moon is fantastic, honestly. There's a couple of catches, really easy, simple ones, simple to say. Maybe not so simple to do or to convince the subconscious of all the time. And that's letting go of the past and recognizing this is a whole new ball game now that we're in. We just had a huge shift. Like we're having a huge shift now. For all that is. So if, things have been coming up from the past that, you're worried something will play out like it has before, or it could be there's something to forgive with it, until we have forgiven the trials and tribulations that we've taken on with soulmate relationships and somebody's done something terrible to us until we figure out, oh, that was for me and why, letting that go, then we will repeat, which is another reason why it's so important to forgive. But this new moon holds a lot of promise. And of course, it's an Aries, cardinal energy, initiating energy, and the journey of the Fool begins in Aries. I mentioned a few months ago that a balloon that's a zero, a mylar balloon, had blown into one of my trees in the backyard over the winter, and I had a big zero hanging out there. I knew exactly what that meant. And now it's actually blown out of the tree into my bushes. So it's moving along. I just can't reach it, or I would grab it, but I'm going to have to get out there with something and get it out. It's pretty tangled up now. And then I also wanted to share just a great story with you guys. And it happened today. So I thought this would probably be something that Metatron would like me to share because he was really pushing, the truth of coming into like a higher level of, insight and understanding and communing with the soul, gaining insights, recognizing that the universe is always communing with us. So last night I'm in Illinois, and I grew up in a small town that has, well, close by is a place called Black Hawk State Park. And I was thinking last night, maybe I'll go hiking there on one of my weekends, my free weekends, or semi free weekends. And I had a bad feeling. I felt something bad. I knew it was history, bad kind of feeling about going there. And I thought, because, a lot of times with our Pluto, our connection with the ancestors and the past can be so strong that we can feel like guilty or, just whatever story had played out there. That I obviously had an inkling to something having gone on that was negative. And so I told myself, like, Jennifer never did anything at Black Hawk. Nothing to be afraid of going there. So I get to the woods this morning. I always walk by myself. Like, it's really unusual if I go with anyone to the woods. That's kind of my time. And so I got there. I saw a woman getting onto the path, but not going into the woods. And I wasn't really paying much attention. I went into the woods. I got to the water, and I was listening to my AirPods. Actually, I was listening to Cindy do a tarot reading, and I watched Cindy Awakening to Spirit. She's pretty much the only one I listen to right now. And so she started talking to me, and I took out the AirPod, and we started. She was showing me, oh, there's a snake, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, you must have some big transformation coming up if the snake is poking out to see you. And so, it started like that. We started talking, obviously, like she was wearing a big stone. She had like earrings really similar to ones that I wear, which you can tell have been made by Native Americans. Those earrings. So I figured, like, okay, this is my people. And I can't even remember how it came up, if I mentioned like hiking other places or what. She started talking to me about Black Hawk, about the battle. I didn't even know this. That, I don't know when it was, but there was a battle. Okay, so they're saying war between the Black Hawk people and some whiteys. I don't know if it was the American whiteys or if it was before we were the United States. I really don't know. But I guess there's like a whole memorial to it. And I was like, oh, that's why I had that feeling. Because a lot of times when we go places, those of you who are sensitive, that when you go into a place, you can feel what the energy is there. So, but and then we ended up spending 2 hours together. Hi to Karen if she's watching this. But it was pretty amazing. Like, just that I had that thought, and then 12 hours later, there's the woman telling me why that is, and that's what happens in my life because I know that the universe is always speaking to me. I know that I hid gems in my own natal chart, and I like to help people discover the gems that they've hidden in their charts for themselves. So, that's what we do in my readings, and the universe is always talking to us. So just really, like, I don't like to say expect, but, just be in a place of openness and reception, and, allow the synchronicities to flow in, because they're really going to be flowing in right now. So I talked in the last video about Mars, the ruler of Aries, had made his way past the North Node, and we're off to the races, kinda. But we're definitely starting something new. And this full moon in Aries. So Aries is the pioneering spirit, the go-getter. He starts out as the fool. He ends up the emperor. And we're going as in like a child, going back to that time when we believed that the world was our oyster. That's what we're gaining again. We're going back into that energy where we can create the life that we imagine, the life that we long for, the life that we would like to have on this, in this paradigm. A lot of times, with our religion soaked DNA informing our subconscious, there's the story that heaven is where all the dreams come true. I mean, that's so common. Every human being comes in with that because we were taught that for centuries. But it's not true. Heaven is what we create here in this world. And so we're going to just look at the chart. I just want to show you guys the chart so that you can see that Pluto. Now, I always use universal time for the new moons. And this is happening at 22 degrees of Aries. And Mars is ruling this new moon. He is at 23 degrees and change of Gemini. You can see him there in the lead. But I want you to notice how Pluto is on the ascendant. And so that's what I was talking about, that Pluto is in what's called a square. So a 90-degree energy of something happening, a charge. Kind of, I don't mean like charge forward, I mean like a charge, like an electric charge, if you're reading energy that way. That, it's time to let go of the past. It's time to move forward. Let go of the past. And he was talking about that every day is a new day. Or he's saying the past was 2 minutes ago. And that's another thing that we do in the subconscious is we carry the story that we were bad, that we deserve bad stuff, that we, and we keep manifesting it because it's our subconscious story. But the link with the past doesn't have to be something negative that we need to heal. I had a dream a few nights ago where I was watching my ancestors kick ass, like the whole night. I don't remember even specifically. I just remember being like, wow. They really were just riddled with problems. They actually, all of us had really amazing ancestors too. And that's Pluto. That's gaining that and letting the rest of it go, the whole condemnation and judgment. And, can we stop with the religion and the Bible and the whole, what we deserve? What is it that we deserve? You're a fractal of the universe having an experience. You're not late for anything. You're not doing anything wrong. You're having the experience, and it's whatever you choose for it to be. Like Rich, who I talked about, my friend that had passed away, when he was talking about like the relief that comes and, the expectation that leaves that we have toward ourselves when we pass to the other side. And he was saying, as an Aries, he was saying to me that we're in such a hurry and we want to get it right and we want to make sure we do exactly what we're meant to do in this lifetime. But it isn't really like that. This lifetime is part of our journey. The journey goes on and on and on, and we make progress with every lifetime. There is no goal. There's no finish. When you come to that place where everything's crystallized and you're like, oh my God. I just started laughing, and then the next thing I said came right out of my mouth was, oh, that was fun. Sign me up. I want to do it again. Now, since then, of course, didn't maintain it, which, keeping the light body vibration is not that easy. It's kind of something that comes like that in that revelatory moment, but we have to keep up. We have to keep the physical body on board and do all of the things that are necessary for the physical body to maintain that vibration of light and joy. Not impossible, but what can I tell you? I fell asleep at the wheel a little bit. But I mean, when I'm doing this, I'm in my light body. But my point is that there isn't yes, we do have goals for each lifetime, but there's nobody up there. God is a consciousness of pure love. There is nothing up there that has expectations that we better do this and that and meet these demands and live this way or we're in big trouble. That's all. I'm sorry. I just lived last week's holidays, and some of the stuff I saw getting posted, I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm seriously not doing Bible holidays anymore. What did Metatron say? It's fiction, it's fairy tale. And then I saw people were even adding to that their own twist and turn, trying to make it make sense to themselves, but it doesn't make sense because some guy wrote it. or people wrote it. So when you look at Pluto in square to these energies, he's also, of course, affecting. He's Venus is the one that he's actually in the square with, and so that's about. It could be something that has thrown off your balance, like a negative habit that you're giving up, a relationship, something that just doesn't add any value to your life. That you would be, your physical body would be better off without, or your energy would be better off without. So that for sure, letting something go. I mean, it could be something that, like he talked about last time, a physical, symptom or something that will, healing will come for that. But, and then, of course, we all year have the Uranus uh, square to Saturn. And that's always kind of like a jostling, kind of like a building, rebuilding, refining, reworking, restructuring kind of thing. And something that is of value, that brings freedom. And if it isn't, it's not going to be lasting. It's not going to carry through. May do okay for a little while, but it isn't going to be something that lasts. But it's just Jupiter is pouring into the new moon energy. I should read the times, and of course, I do not have my notebook. So let me go grab my notebook, because that's where I take all the notes with Metatron, and we had just been writing some things out, and I forgot to pick it up when I came in here. So hang on a sec. Okay, so it's 3:30 a.m. on the 12th of April for the UK, and it's 12:30 p.m. on the 12th for Sydney, and then Central Standard Time, it's at 9:30 p.m. the 11th of April. And I told you this was 22 degrees of Aries. So we always look at the minutes with the new moons, because we're all in different time zones. So that is a 3. And 3s are Jupiter. Jupiter, abundance, ambition, plenty, wisdom, knowledge, teachings, like really fabulous energy. He is the most beneficial planet that we have. Oh, I thought I took my chart out. So you can see Jupiter. He's the one that looks like the funny number 4. He's coming up there at the end of Aquarius. So he's in what's called a trine. So he's in a harmonious flow of energy to Mars. He's like feeding that energy of Mars. So freedom, something that is, taking the express, and that's going to be extremely abundant. Look at the midpoint there. That's where we have the sun and moon. Venus is with the new moon. Mercury is with the new moon. Aries and Ceres. So we have a lot of divine feminine energy in this new moon as well. Chiron's actually pretty, he's not very close to them. I can't really include him in all of it. But the rest of them are definitely working together. So something that brings money, something that is nurturing, that nourishes, that fills the void that was, while you were being raised, whatever you were missing out on, like filling that space for yourself. So something that will take good care of you. Aries is, no matter what comes down the pikeway, she's going to make sure that her wishes are fulfilled, kind of thing. And she's always about ultimately the evolution of humanity. But this is a fabulous new moon when you have all of them clustered together, and then Jupiter feeding from one side, Mars feeding from the other. It's spectacular. So yeah, let's go over just some things that he wanted me to touch on. So Mars has been out of bounds since the 22nd, 23rd of March, like when the solstice or the equinox gateway, he went out of bounds then. And when a planet's out of bounds, it means that they're traveling outside the path of the sun. Like the sun goes so far north and so far south of the equator at the solstice. And when planets go outside of that, we call them out of bounds. They're sort of rogue planets, right? So rogue Mars has been leading us through the Aries season. We were having our Mars return in the United States when we had like so many violent mass shootings. I can't even remember. I think there were like 22. And that was our Mars return, and sets us up for a 2-year cycle. So, but today, Metatron asked me to share that we have reached a new record for CO2. It's at 420 ppms, parts per million, for the planet, and that is not good. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. When I do the Nostradamus video, we'll talk more about those things as soon as I'm given the go ahead with that. But yeah, that was something that he asked me to make note of. As Neptune has come into the last decan of Pisces now, there are going to be a lot of things going on with gas, and not just those methane pockets that I've talked about, but also emissions kind of gas. I mean, we have that going on in Florida too, where they're about, hopefully they'll be able to contain it. There's a chemical spill, or it's actually a chemical plant, and I'll let you guys Google it. I heard one of you ask about it. It's in Manatee County, which is south of Tampa. But the only I said, for, releasing the past and just seeing it play out in a completely different way than it did the last time. Whatever it is that you have going on, or if there's something that you're wrapping up, just see it playing out. What's best for all that is, everybody being at peace. You just showed me a divorce. That's why I said that. But with Jupiter, you can take on too much. You can bite off, you can commit to like, sure, I'll do it. And then, you're very quickly overwhelmed. So that's a caution. With, like I said, with the Saturn, Uranus energy, we're moving slowly. Nobody is rushing out there and, building a skyscraper in a week or anything like that. We're still moving ahead. Like, there definitely needs to be an action taken. And we're, making sure that we're doing it in measured steps, is the way that Metatron is saying it. Measured steps. But because of what's happening with the planets on the 10th, 11th, just note that you're going to be having aha moments, revelations. Information's going to be coming in. Possibly unexpected information. Will be granted a host of opportunities for expansion and abundance. And then attracting abundance, and this is what I would recommend if you are doing a new moon ritual, make a gratitude list. And on one side of the paper, what you're grateful for. On the second, or the other side of the paper, what it is that you love about yourself. I mean, that's what he said. That's what he recommends. Because, series, and being in that, we want to be, he's saying, ministering to ourselves, healing to ourselves. So Mars is going to continue out of bounds. He's going to move into Cancer. Well, I'll talk about it when we go further, but Mars is going to be out of bounds until May 25th. And Mercury goes out of bounds on May 8th until May 31st. So that's kind of like, the way he was showing it was like a wheel, kind of like a hamster wheel, but it was a staircase. And it was as we're climbing, and we're climbing and we're taking steady steps, not like racing on the treadmill, but we're climbing and the wheel is moving. So it's almost like taking 3 steps, but you've taken 2. That kind of energy. But then you'll take 2 steps and you'll jump 4. So that's, if that makes any sense to you, that's the way that he's showing me and the way that he was expressing that. And that what we're talking about, that going on through the end of May. And then on the 14th of April, Venus will move into Taurus. That whole week, like starting on the 13th, going through, I guess I'd say 19th, 20th. That is just a beautiful energy, honestly. Like, that week is beautiful. Saturn's making some contacts but nothing like, that would be like any big thing going on. But also because Vesta, who represents commitment, she's coming up to trine. She's in Virgo, and she's going to form a harmonious connection, a trine with Uranus. Definitely time to kick a habit, like whatever it is, or change it. And always looking at like putting a new habit in that space is how we get rid of the old habit. So just putting that out there. But yeah, if you were going to write or there's something that you'd like to read, this is also fantastic energy for purging, cleaning out the past, especially if it's something from a former relationship that you've let go of, like something in your house that's been there because it's been there since you got married 50 years ago or whatever. If there's anything that you've been thinking about cleaning out, this is a great time to do that. We can't a lot of times bring new energy in because the physical space is so packed with stuff that we can't, it doesn't leave room for abundance or blessings to come in. But yeah, if you're going to start a new course, this is a great time. But new rituals, resetting the rhythms of the body, the physical body, like wake up, sleep time, wake up time. And then, if you, however much time you can dedicate to yourself, before you start your day, like if you could start the day, that's a good way to do this. He was also talking about, at bedtime, if you are having trouble sleeping, because some people in this energy the mind can just keep going. Candle gazing is a good thing to do at night before bed. It helps you get sleepy. And the symbol for 24 degrees of Gemini is children ice skating on a village pond. So, what does that require when we're skating on a frozen pond? Trust, right? But they're together, they're having fun, they're zooming around. He's saying the kids are not worried. They're not taking anything for granted, he's saying, but they aren't concerned because they understand that the ice is strong enough to support them. And then, yeah, he really was like talking a lot about changing the conversation in our heads and gratitude, being grateful for ourselves, like recognizing ourselves, giving credit where credit is due, he's saying, reminding yourself of all the history, he's saying, of your successes rather than what you didn't do absolutely perfectly when you set out to do it. And understanding that there is no mistake. It's just a different experience that we chose to have. So when we get to about the 20th, 21st, we're in the dark of the moon. Or no, we're not in the dark of the moon yet. When we get to about the 21st, we're going to start to feel on the 23rd, Venus will move up to Uranus and Mars will move into Cancer, still out of bounds, and that's not really uncommon for him in Cancer, but that could be a lot of emotion, and it most likely it will have something to do with money or a relationship, a love connection, relationship. That's where I think we're gonna start feeling the dark of the moon for the 27th, the full moon that's coming in Scorpio. On the 25th, Venus and Saturn are going to square. So that's going to be the kickoff, I think, for that, feeling the dark of the moon. Full moons in Scorpio. I don't ever mind that. I mean, I'm used to it. I have so much Scorpio. But, they can be a little bit emotional. But I haven't looked at that chart yet. And I just want to tell you that this new moon energy is really, really sweet. And that it continues, that energy. It goes on for like a week or so. So, yeah. I have been looking into the royal family video and doing their astrology because some of you had said that you might be interested in watching that. And I really hope that YouTube shares it with people. If you're welcome to, please again, comment or subscribe if you so choose. they told me that, and I know that so many of you say that you don't get notifications. They said that only, like, I think it's 20% maybe of my subscribers are signed up for notifications. So they've probably unsigned you up. I know that happens with me. So I mean, for the channels that I subscribe to, so I'm sure. Yeah, so that's all I had for you. And I'm looking forward to the new moon energy. And yeah, it's 80 degrees here today. It'll be 80 tomorrow. Yeah, I miss you guys a lot. So it's nice to have a chance to talk to you. And I love you guys so much and sharing time with you and feeling your energy. And I wish you a fantastic manifesting ceremony. If you are not on my mailing list, then when you go on my website, a card will pop up that where you can fill it out, or you can send me an email, jennyb at astrologyforascension.com, and I could get you on the mailing list. I'm toying with the idea of starting up something for the moons. So get on my mailing list, because I won't say it on YouTube. I'm just going to send it out in an email if I do decide to do it, okay? So anyway, love you guys. Take good care. Bye-bye.